Hi, it's Sean Laurie here, and I'm going to take you through some of the features of the extension I've made for Doug Fink's PowerShell AI module. The extension I've built is called AI Function Builder. It's an interactive way of generating PowerShell functions without tripping over some of the common issues that large language models introduce. Let's get started. After installing Doug's module, we can invoke the Function Builder interactively by just running invoke AI Function Builder without any parameters. This will bring up a prompt where you'll be asked to describe what you want your function to do. For today's demo, I'm going to ask it to use the Azure Graph SDK to get me the details of the users in my tenant. This is the stage where the function builder will use an AI model to generate the first version of what it thinks will solve my problem. And now it runs into the first issue. It wants to use a function called connect graph, which it can't find locally, but it has been able to find in some modules on the PowerShell gallery. After reviewing this, I decided I don't want to use either of those modules, so I just hit enter to ask the AI to come up with another idea. Now that it's had time to think, it's come up with using the connect graph command, which is part of the official Microsoft Graph SDK. So in this case, I'm happy to install the module so that I can continue to build a script that relies upon it. With a bit of copy paste to make sure I know what I'm getting myself into, the module will be installed. And yes, I trust this installation. Now it also wants to use a command called get graph user, but I don't trust the modules suggested, so I'm going to hit enter so it can find another solution. Cool, it's decided to use getMGUser, which is part of one of the modules I already have installed. Now that the function is in a state where the automated checks are happy and it thinks it's ready to go, we get the choice of saving, running, editing, or asking the model to explain itself. I can see something I'm not too happy with. It's specifying hard-coded versions of the modules, so I'm going to enter E for edit, and then I'll ask the AI to not require specific versions of modules. This is fed back into the semantic validator, which asks the AI, does this function meet all of the requirements that have been provided? The response shown in the log indicates that the function meets one of the requirements, but it doesn't meet my new one. So it's providing a potential solution which will then be run through all of the syntax validation process. Now that the function is complete for the second time around, and I'm happy to try it out, I can hit R for run to see what will happen. The function appears to be working, so I've been pretty lucky. But if it were to throw an exception during execution, the function builder should catch that and ask if you want the AI to automatically fix the bugs for you. Now this is great, I have a working function, but what if I want to know why the AI thinks it meets all of my requirements? I can enter X for explain to get a breakdown of what it thinks my requirements were and how the function meets each one. Here I have a numbered list indicating that there were 3 key requirements and why it thinks each one of them were met. It's also provided a summary of what the function does. Okay, we've written a function from scratch, but what if you're already halfway there and you have some existing code? You can get the code as text and pass it into the function builder as an initial function. Here we'll take some text I've prepared and use it as the starting point for a function and provide a natural language prompt describing what the function is supposed to do. Now that the AI has validated the function meets the requirements, we get the same options as in my previous example, and I want some changes. I'm going to be annoying here and ask something in a convoluted fashion that I think will force the AI to come up with a multi-function solution. It's adding a second function to handle an email sending scenario, and it's also busy correcting the parameters required for send mail message. Now that it's complete, I want to run it by entering R for run again, but this time around there are 2 functions, so it's going to ask me which one to use as an entry point. And yes, my name is not Banana. I've quickly written this as an experiment, so I'm sure there'll be some rough edges to iron out, but I'll be happy to hear about them if you reach out with issues on GitHub or find me on Twitter. You can give it a go today by installing PowerShell AI from the PowerShell gallery. That's all from me, thanks for watching.